So please welcome Jane Boholst.
Okay, so raise your hands for me. How many of you have heard of the musical Hamilton? Hey, awesome, lots of you, great. So for those of you who haven't heard or seen Hamilton, it's an amazing musical about the founding father, Alexander Hamilton. I'm not going to talk too much about it, but if you keep an ear out, you might hear some lyrics that kind of inspired this talk today. The other thing that inspired my talk today was a conversation I had with a friend of mine the other day, where actually I shared a little bit about my personal story. So from going from being a really shy, techie introvert to starting a business, becoming an author and doing speaking and helping other introverts to grow their businesses as well. And what I shared with my friend was really how RSI, or repetitive strain injury, really pushed me to reconsider my career choices. So I was working in IT, and if you know about RSI, it basically made using a computer really painful. So I knew I couldn't stay in my job for the rest of my life and I needed to do something different. So I retrained. I actually retrained as a hypnotherapist with counselling skills and decided I would start a business. And like your typical introvert, I decided to do that in a way that meant I could avoid talking to people. So I read a lot of books. I read up a lot about how to run a successful business, how to do social media effectively, also how to network effectively. And I actually started my business by developing my website. I actually decided I'd code that myself because I had those skills, which, actually later on I was like, why did I do that? But I decided to do that, and I also designed my logo and got some business cards printed. And I got to a stage where I was basically pushed to try networking because I got to a point where the money that I was living on was rapidly disappearing because I decided I'd quit my job and start this business full time. And so I was like, oh crap, I need some money. And I shared with my friend how my first few experiences with networking were absolutely awful, as you can imagine. I was really awkward and really uncomfortable. And I even shared with her one of the experiences I had, which was basically I went to a networking event, I shared what I did, and this person literally walked away from me. Yeah, not fun. And luckily for me at this point, I found myself receiving a scholarship to a training event out in California, which was a massive, massive honor, but also a massive deal, because like I said, I was living on my savings and it cost a pretty penny to go out to California. But I'm really, really glad and grateful that I took that opportunity and went to California because it led me to really gain skills and tools and strategies that I used to basically network effectively and go out there and get clients and ultimately help me to help my clients to do the same thing. I was able to basically go to a networking event and get a client, and one of my clients, the first client that I actually worked with, he was an introvert trying to get through to get a job. He was doing a lot of interviews but not getting past the interview stage. We literally did 2 weeks of work together, 4 sessions, and at the end of those 2 weeks he was able to choose the job that paid him the most money. So once I got that, I was like, wow, I can actually teach other people how to do the same thing, which is why I ended up teaching other introverts. So as I was sharing my story, my friend basically encouraged me to go out there and share my story more. And this is what I'm trying to share with you guys as well, because your story could actually make a difference as well. So our story may not be as amazing or as pioneering as the story of Hamilton, who helped to found the States and helped found the Bank of America. But if we share our challenges, things that we've overcome, we can inspire people to rise up and not miss out on taking their shot. Okay, so if you feel like you're inspired by my story and you'd like to get support with that, then feel free to come speak to me in the break. What I will say is when George Washington has a line in Hamilton, which is, we don't control who lives or who dies or who shares our story, but what we can do, even though we can't control who lives or dies, we can control who shares our story when we go out there and share it ourselves.